Morning children, this is MD Ramjanvi. Today I am going to teach 10th class English. That is a lesson from 7th unit. A lesson is My Childhood, Unit 7 children. That it is a face sheet is given to you. You can see then this is the unit of nation and diversity. You know well that what is the nation and what is the diversity. These definitions you will get from your social studies lessons. So ours is a nation and it has different religions, castes and subcastes, and different regions. People they are living here, but these all people they say ours is a nation. So here that unit what it tells us a nation and diversity related to this one lesson is given to you. Later I'm coming to that. And children, you by seeing this picture you can understand different places. Small pictures are given to you. That small pictures are telling that different religions people that their temples, mosques and some other given there, and great people those are musicians, singers that are given there, and a peacock given to you, and some other pictures are given to you. This is the first picture given to you children. And next come to the next picture. In some books there will be a picture will be different, but here it is given to you nation and diversity. In this picture you see two people are participating in cricket match, and especially it is focused on one is a Muslim, another is a Hindu. That culture it shows here, the tradition it shows us, their dressing sense tell us they are two different religious people. They involved playing the match. And down you see that you can write many other things. Then by seeing the picture you can write many sentences. That it shows us here we are in unity and integrity also. That is our nation and diversity. People are indifferent, but they are saying their country and their nation is one. Here by seeing that picture children, one question is asked: what does the picture signify? Second question: do you experience the theme reflected in the picture in your real life? If not, what may be the possible reason for this? In real life, are you experienced of this theme of which reflects here the picture? That means two different religion people, different religious people playing. And oral discourse is given to you. Talk on unity in diversity is the spirit of our nation. That is, a statement is given to you. Do you accept it? That is a debate actually. Not just a talk on, not a debate. You have to speak out. What is the topic here? Unity in diversity is the spirit of our nation. Is it our spirit? Do you accept this? So many questions will arise. For that answers you have to write. That will become a discourse also. So children, you try to speak out. Speaking out means nothing but you try to put on the paper your opinion, your ideas, you put them on the paper. Okay children. Now I'm coming to that lesson A lesson which is given to you. It is an autobiography by Abdul Kalam. You know very well, former president of India. That it is who is that Abdul Kalam, great person, great scientist of India, and also he was a former president and a very intellectual person, very intelligent person here. So regarding this we are going to know about his childhood. My childhood is nothing but Abdul Kalam's childhood. When he was a child, it is taken a piece of writing. This is a chapter taken from his autobiography. A small piece of writing it is taken. It is given to you for the 10th class children. So here, read the following extract. Extract means a piece of writing taken from. Extract from Wings of Fire. It is a book written by Abdul Kalam. So children, it is very interesting book. You also try to read that book. It gives much knowledge, and it also tells us how the students and after the students age, how they have to mingle with the society, with the elders, and when they were children, how they mingled, and what is our culture and tradition. So many topics, aspects are there in Wings of Fire. So where the former president of India speaks of his childhood. This is a piece of writing. It is taken from Wings of Fire, written by Abdul Kalam, former president of India. So now I'm coming to that point here. What is this lesson tells us here? Okay, right. Let me start here. All of you get ready with your textbook children. I'm going to read out the first page of this lesson. Be ready. he is speaking. Abdul Kalam is speaking in first person as I. He speaks out as I. So he is going to narrate, describe his childhood days. I was born in a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. Erstwhile Madras state means former name Madras. Now present we call that Madras as Chennai. Is it not? Former it was called as Madras. That is why erstwhile Madras it is given to you. So in that means he is speaking out that he was born in Tamil family. Tamil means as a regional. And my father Jainuddin had neither much formal education nor such a wealth. Despite these disadvantages, not having the advantages, disadvantages. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed a great innate wisdom and a true, a true generosity of spirit. True generosity of spirit he had. He was not much educated person, his father, but he is a wise person and has no formal education. Though he became the generosity person, and also generosity of spirit he had. His father, Jainuddin. He had an ideal helpmate too in my mother, Aishamma, name Abdul Kalam's mother name is Aishamma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day. Feed past form is fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more considers it with us than all the members of our own family put together. So every day at their home, many people would come and they are fed by these family members. That means he has no particular number of idea how many people would come daily for their food, for their meals. And his mother, she would serve them without any hesitation. That means a number of people would come to that house and mother, she would feed the people. Not only that family members, outsiders of the family. This is a thing given to you here. Next paragraph I am coming to you. I was one of the children, a short boy with a rather undistinguished looks. Undistinguished, rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. So his parents are tall and handsome. So he was telling like this: undistinguished looks, undistinguished, not very interesting, successful, not very attractive. Undistinguished means. So we lived in our ancestral house. Ancestral means ancestral means the property or something which comes from our forefathers and grandparents. Ancestor means it belongs to our grandparents or forefathers. It was the house of their grandparents and forefathers. Ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 18th century. Sorry, 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house, and that house was built. It was made of limestone and brick. On the on the mosque street in Rameshwaram. That house was built on the mosque street of Rameshwaram. My austere father used it to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. Essential opposite word is inessential. You can also note it down, the children. Opposite words, antonym of that. Austere means very simple, plain, simple and plain. That is austere. Sound you have to pronounce as austere. Austere father used it to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. These were provided by his parents, Abdul Kalam's parents. Food, medicine, and clothes were provided. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Both materially means physically and emotionally also, as the feelings they have. In both these things, it was a very secure childhood. Abdul Kalam had a secure childhood life. We had then. So this was the situation. Abdul Kalam, he was going to narrate about his childhood. You turn out the page, children. Next page, you come to the next page here. The Second World War broke out in 1939. Then, when I was 8 years old, for reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. So what is he telling that? And when he was 8 years old, Second World War, it broke out, happened. broke out. In social studies, you would learn that. So at the time of Second World War, he was 8 years old, and my boy. And I have never been able to understand why that tamarind price of the tamarind white erupted, white rose, increased. Erupted means increased that tamarind seeds price in the market. I used it to collect those seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. Provision shop. That is what you call that where we get that kiranam and some other material we get that Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna, anna. In those days, they would call that anna, paisa, anna. Now we are 1 rupee, we are calling that. That days, annas were there. Annas, that is a currency change of the paisa that it is. Annas are called. It's so daily collection of that seeds, tamarind seeds, he would fetch means get here. He would get princely sum of 1 anna. And my brother-in-law, Jalaluddin, his brother-in-law name was Jalaluddin, would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Dinamani is capital letter given to you. It is a newspaper in Tamil Nadu, famous newspaper in that days. So his brother-in-law used to tell the stories of the Second World War and what is happening in the world by reading the headlines. That his brother-in-law, he tells the stories by reading the newspaper. Dinamani. What is Dinamani? Asked. It is a newspaper. Children, you observe that it is a newspaper. One area, our area being isolated, you know very well that is separated. Isolated was completely unaffected by the war. Affected, opposite word is unaffected. Impact, no impact was there by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. So something like emergency was declared in India at the time of Second World War. British people were ruling at the time. And the first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. So at Rameshwaram station, train halt was suspended. That means not going to stop at the Rameshwaram station. But till then there was a halt. But because of the war, because of the situation, there was no halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspaper now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkoti. Rameshwaram and Dhanushkoti, in between two stations, there is what happened that newspaper bundle, it was thrown out at in between these two stations. That forced my cousin Samshuddin, he forced him, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the slot, that gap. Samshuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. This was his first money. His brother-in-law, he gave him a choice of to collect the bundle of the newspaper and distribute it. For a day, he would get some amount. This was a great amount for as a wages. Half a century later, he reminds that it was a so great amount. So let me see, children, that the remaining part in the next video.